Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures buried in your pocket change. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating piece of American coinage, the 1982 P. Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent coin. You might think it's just another regular nickel, but you're about to discover that this coin holds much more than its face value. In fact, it could turn out to be one of the most surprising finds in your coin jar, a true collector's gem that tells a story of transition, design, rarity, and hidden fortune. So sit back, relax, and watch carefully till the end, because by the time this video ends, you'll never look at a nickel the same way again. Let's go back to 1982, a year that marked an important phase in U.S. coinage history. America was in the middle of economic shifts, and the U.S. Mint was adjusting coin production to match the changing times. The Jefferson nickel, which had been in circulation since 1938, continued to carry the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. But behind this ordinary-looking coin was an interesting story, a tale of changing minting methods, small design variations, and quality control issues that would later make certain 1982 nickels incredibly collectible. The Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P Mint mark, struck millions of these coins. However, even though millions were made, not every 1982 P nickel is the same. What sets some of them apart are the tiny details that most people never notice: differences in strike quality, planchet composition, die wear, and even small errors that only sharp-eyed collectors can spot. The obverse, or front side, of the 1982 nickel features the left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. The inscription, "In God We Trust," curves along the left rim, while "Liberty" and the year 1982 are seen on the right. Just beside the date, you'll notice the P Mint mark, showing it was produced in Philadelphia. On the reverse, you see Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, beautifully displayed with fine architectural details. Above it, you'll find the word E Pluribus Unum, and below, the inscriptions Monticello 5 cents and United States of America. Now, even though this design looks simple, the condition and details of the coin make all the difference in its value. Collectors today look for nickels that have sharp strikes, clear details on Monticello's columns, and a smooth, bright surface free of scratches or wear. A coin that has never been circulated, what collectors call mint state, MS, can be worth far more than one that's been passed around for decades. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1982 P nickel is its errors and varieties. During minting, a small mistake can turn an ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Some known varieties from this year include die cracks, fine lines caused by a damaged die that can make the coin appear as though it has tiny veins running across Jefferson's face or Monticello's dome, double die errors, where parts of the design, such as the lettering or date, appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned strike, off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, planchet errors, where the blank metal disc used to strike the coin was not properly formed or had impurities, creating a unique texture or missing detail. Collectors absolutely love these error coins because they are one of a kind. No two are exactly alike, and that uniqueness can drive the value much higher than anyone expects. Now, let's talk about grading, one of the most important factors in determining value. Professional coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, rate coins on a scale from 1 to 70. A score of 70 represents a perfect, flawless coin. Most 1982 P nickels you'll find in circulation will fall somewhere between very fine, VF, and extremely fine, XF, condition, meaning they show wear, but their details are still visible. However, when a 1982 P nickel is found in MS 65 or higher, it can fetch serious attention. At this level, every line on Jefferson's hair, every step on Monticello, and every curve of the lettering is crisp and sharp. That's when collectors start opening their wallets. Another detail that collectors consider is the luster, that original, shiny surface that a coin has when it's freshly minted. Over time, coins lose their luster as they circulate. But a coin that still shines with that original mint brilliance, even after 40 years, is something truly special. It's also worth mentioning that 1982 was a time when the mint was refining its coin-making process. This led to small but noticeable differences between nickels struck at different mints. While the Philadelphia Mint produced a large quantity, the variations in die polish, metal mixture, and strike pressure resulted in some nickels that appear darker, smoother, or even have slightly different tones of metal. These subtle differences are what make coin collecting such an exciting adventure. Imagine going through your change and suddenly spotting a 1982 nickel that looks a bit different, maybe a stronger strike, brighter finish, or slightly doubled date. That little detail could be worth far more than 5 cents. For many collectors, the 1982 P. Jefferson nickel symbolizes the charm of modern American numismatics, a bridge between the older, more historic coins and the newer minting technologies that would define later decades. Its affordable entry point makes it perfect for beginner collectors, while rare, high-grade examples continue to attract seasoned experts and investors. Let's not forget the story behind the man on the coin, Thomas Jefferson. He wasn't just a founding father but a visionary whose home, Monticello, stands as a monument to architecture, intellect, and the spirit of independence. His image on the nickel reminds every holder of the ideals of creativity, freedom, and American innovation. It's a fitting tribute that his home graces the reverse of this coin, turning every nickel into a miniature monument of history. Now, here's something interesting about circulation and survival rates. While millions were made, not all have survived in good condition. Over the years, countless nickels have been damaged, worn down, or melted. This natural reduction means that high-quality survivors from 1982 are much scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. If you ever come across a proof like 1982 P nickel or one stored in a mint set, it's worth examining under magnification. Look closely at Jefferson's cheek, the steps of Monticello, and the clarity of the lettering. These small details can indicate whether your coin is a normal strike or a higher quality specimen. Some collectors have even discovered full steps varieties, where all 6 steps of Monticello are completely visible and sharply defined. These are among the most desirable 1982 nickels, and they can be worth exponentially more than regular ones. Over time, as more collectors enter the hobby and older coins vanish from circulation, coins like the 1982 P nickel gain even more significance. It's not just about rarity, it's about history, survival, and condition. So, what makes this coin so interesting today isn't just its age, but its potential hidden value. Many people have no idea that a small 5-cent piece sitting in a jar or drawer could carry such history, and possibly a small fortune. Even though it's a modern coin, the 1982 P. Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent continues to capture attention in the coin collecting world. It serves as a reminder that every coin tells a story of craftsmanship, economy, and national pride. So, before you spend your next nickel, take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, and the details. You never know, you might be holding a small piece of American treasure, and if you happen to find one that's perfectly preserved, with a strong strike, clean luster, and no wear, you might just have something very valuable on your hands. Collectors and auction houses have already proven that these coins can bring in surprising sums when discovered in top condition or with unique minting errors. The fascination around this coin keeps growing year after year, especially among those who know how to spot the subtle details that make a coin stand out. In the world of coin collecting, patience, knowledge, and attention to detail are everything. The 1982 P. Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent is a perfect example of how a common coin can hold uncommon worth, a coin that embodies the soul of American history and the beauty of discovery. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, in the world of coin collectors. One pristine and rare 1982 P. Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent coin has been sold for an astounding $9,833. So check your nickels carefully, because your change might just be worth a fortune. Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures that could be sitting right inside your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, yet it hides an incredible story of rarity, minting mysteries, and hidden value. We're talking about the United States of America 1991 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, the Monticello 5-cent coin. You might think a coin from the early 1990s isn't old enough to be valuable, but as you'll soon find out, even modern nickels can surprise collectors and bring serious money to those lucky enough to find the right one. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. It features one of the most iconic portraits in U.S. coin history, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, who also authored the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse, we see his home, the Grand Monticello, an architectural masterpiece that has graced the nickel for decades. But the 1991 P. Jefferson nickel is special, not because of how it looks at first glance, but because of how rare high-quality examples have become, and the minting anomalies that make certain pieces worth far more than 5 cents. Let's travel back to 1991. The world was changing fast. The Cold War had just ended, technology was advancing rapidly, and in the midst of all that, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of Jefferson nickels. The mint mark P, placed on the obverse side just beside Jefferson's bust, tells us this coin was minted in Philadelphia. Over 600 million nickels rolled off the presses that year. With that massive number, you might think these coins would have little to no collector value. But the truth is, not all nickels are created equal. To the trained eye of a coin collector, small differences make a world of difference. Some 1991 P. Jefferson nickels are struck from worn dies, giving them a soft or hazy appearance. Others, however, were struck early in the die's life, producing sharp, crisp details, particularly in Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello. These are known as full steps nickels, and collectors absolutely love them. A 1991 P. Jefferson nickel showing all 6 steps clearly on Monticello's staircase is extremely rare, especially in uncirculated condition. Finding one like that in your pocket change is almost like striking silver or gold, because they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on grade and eye appeal. The full steps designation is what separates ordinary nickels from extraordinary ones. During the minting process, when dies wear down or pressure decreases, those fine lines representing the steps on Monticello often blur together. But when a coin is struck with full pressure and precision, those steps are distinct and separate, a tiny detail, but one that dramatically increases a coin's desirability. Most 1991 P nickels were heavily circulated, tossed in jars, vending machines, and piggy banks for years. As a result, very few survived in pristine condition. That's why grading is everything when it comes to these coins. Grading is the process of determining a coin's condition. Coins are rated on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, perfect strike known as Mint State 70, or MS 70. A 1991 P. Jefferson nickel graded below MS 60 might only be worth its face value, 5 cents, but one that achieves MS 65, MS 66, or MS 67 can become extremely valuable. At the top end, coins graded MS 67 with full steps can reach astonishing auction prices. These are the kind of nickels that collectors fight over, because they are so hard to find in perfect condition from such a high mintage year. Now, let's talk about the design itself, the work of Felix Schlag. His portrait of Jefferson captures both dignity and simplicity, and his depiction of Monticello on the reverse has become an enduring American symbol. Over the decades, the design has gone through minor changes, but the essence remains. The 1991 version still reflects the classic look that defined mid-century American coinage. Its nickel composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, has remained constant since 1946, giving it that distinct silvery tone. But beyond the basic design and metal content lies something more fascinating: the errors and varieties that make this coin stand out. Some of the most valuable 1991 P. Jefferson nickels owe their worth to minting mistakes. For example, there are examples of off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck. There are also double die obverse, where parts of the lettering or Jefferson's profile appear slightly doubled. Even small die cracks or extra metal flaws known as die chips can attract collector attention, especially if they occur in prominent areas like Jefferson's Eye or near the Monticello steps. Imagine finding a nickel that looks a little off. Maybe the word, Liberty, looks thicker, or the mint mark seems doubled. These are the subtle clues that might mean your coin is more than ordinary pocket change. Error coins can easily fetch dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. The 1991 P series has a few known die varieties that still excite collectors today, and new ones are discovered occasionally as people continue to inspect their change more closely. Another factor that makes the 1991 P Jefferson nickel interesting is how the U.S. Mint was transitioning its quality standards during the early 1990s. The technology was improving, but the minting process was still partly mechanical and subject to wear. That's why some years, including 1991, are notorious for inconsistent strikes. Collectors now see those inconsistencies as opportunities to find something special hidden among ordinary coins. If you're hunting for one of these valuable 1991 P nickels, here's what you should look for. First, check the overall condition. The fewer scratches, dings, and wear marks, the better. Second, examine Monticello on the reverse. Look for those full steps. If you can count at least 5 distinct, sharp steps without merging, you may have a valuable coin. Third, inspect the mint mark and lettering carefully under a magnifying glass for signs of doubling or anomalies. And finally, consider getting your coin graded by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. These certified grades can greatly increase the coin's resale value and provide official documentation of its rarity. In recent years, collectors have shown a renewed interest in Jefferson nickels from the 1990s, partly because so many have disappeared from circulation. People often underestimate just how few top-grade examples exist from those years. Most of the coins we see in everyday transactions are heavily circulated, dull, and worn, but the uncirculated or error examples are a completely different story. They often remain tucked away in mint sets, old rolls, or forgotten collections. Another important tip: if you come across a proof version of the 1991 nickel, usually minted in San Francisco with an S mark, that's a separate category altogether. Proof coins were specially made with mirror-like surfaces for collectors, and while they are beautiful, the 1991 P business strike nickels from Philadelphia are the ones that can truly surprise you in value when found in perfect condition. The difference lies in rarity and grading quality. So, why does the 1991 P Jefferson nickel matter to collectors today? It represents a period when minting precision and mass production met at a crossroads. Millions were made, yet very few survived in the top grades that collectors prize. It's a modern reminder that even coins we take for granted can hide unexpected treasures. It's also a gateway coin, a coin that sparks curiosity in new collectors and rewards seasoned numismatists with an exciting challenge to find that one flawless piece. For coin enthusiasts, there's something almost magical about uncovering a coin that everyone else overlooked. It's not just about the metal value, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Each Jefferson nickel tells a story of American heritage, of design evolution, and of changing times. The 1991 P nickel carries the essence of that story, quietly circulating for years until someone takes a closer look and realizes what they've found. So next time you're checking your loose change or coin jar, pay attention to that old nickel. Look closely at the year, the mint mark, and those delicate steps beneath Monticello. Because you might just be holding a hidden gem that most people would spend without a second thought. And the most astonishing part? A pristine, high-grade 1991 P Jefferson nickel with full steps has been known to reach an incredible value of $8,736. Welcome to World Information HD, where we explore the fascinating and valuable world of rare American coins that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Today, we dive into the story of the United States of America 2001 D mint mark Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent coin, a small piece of metal that holds a big place in American coin history. Many collectors overlook this coin, assuming it's too modern to be worth much, but some specific 2001 D Jefferson nickels have stunned experts with their beauty, condition, and unexpected rarity. If you've ever wondered whether that shiny or old nickel in your drawer might be worth a surprising amount, stay tuned, because what you learn today might just change how you look at every nickel you find. The 2001 D. Jefferson nickel comes from the Denver Mint, which produced millions of these coins. But here's the interesting part. While the mintage was high, only a fraction of those coins were struck with the precision, sharpness, and flawless surface that collectors crave. In other words, even though many were made, only a few survived in exceptional condition, free from scratches, nicks, or signs of wear. These perfect or near-perfect examples are where true value lies. Let's step back for a moment and appreciate what makes this coin special beyond just its date and mint mark. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American history since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse, or front side, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Schlag's design was elegant and timeless, symbolizing Jefferson's lasting influence on the nation. The reverse side displays Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece located in Virginia. With its domed roof and neoclassical pillars, Monticello remains one of America's most iconic landmarks, and its image has been preserved for generations through this small yet powerful coin. Now, the 2001 D. Jefferson nickel carries a subtle charm of the modern era. This was one of the last years before the Jefferson nickel underwent major design changes in 2004 and 2005 to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. Therefore, the 2001 edition stands as a bridge between the traditional and the modern, between the old America of Jefferson's ideals and the 21st century vision of progress. This transition adds an emotional and historical significance to the 2001 D coin. It's the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. For collectors, condition is everything. A typical 2001 D Jefferson nickel found in pocket change is worth its face value, 5 cents. But when a coin is preserved in mint state, meaning it shows no sign of circulation, its value can rise dramatically. Mint state coins are graded on a 70-point scale by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where 70 represents a perfect coin. Most 2001 D nickels will fall between grades MS60 and MS65, but coins that reach the elite levels of MS67 or higher become very desirable to collectors and investors. Imagine holding a flawless nickel, with its shiny metallic luster reflecting light evenly across the surface, every detail of Jefferson's hair crisp and clear, and the tiny letters of Monticello standing out sharply without any smudge or fade. Such a coin doesn't just represent money, it's a miniature work of art, a perfect strike from the mint that has survived decades without flaw. So, what makes the 2001 D so special among other Jefferson nickels? It's the combination of rarity and high grades and the presence of certain unique die characteristics. Some 2001 D nickels were struck using slightly misaligned or overused dies, leading to what collectors call die deterioration doubling, or weak strikes. These are minor variations in the coin's design details, such as doubled letters in E pluribus unum, or faint edges on the Monticello steps. While not all such coins bring high value, some varieties with strong doubling or clean, full step details are extremely sought after. The full steps designation, or FS, is one of the most important features for Jefferson nickel collectors. It refers to the steps on the Monticello building on the reverse side. A coin with full, sharp, and uninterrupted steps, usually 5 or 6 clearly defined lines, is considered a masterpiece of striking quality. Achieving a full steps designation on a 2001 D nickel is particularly difficult, as the Denver Mint strikes that year often showed weak step definition. That's why a coin with full steps can be worth hundreds or even thousands more than a regular strike. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels understand how rare a perfectly struck 2001 D nickel really is. Finding one in mint state with full steps is like finding a diamond in a gravel pit. It takes patience, luck, and a keen eye. Coin grading companies carefully examine every detail under magnification before assigning such a premium designation, and only a handful make the cut. In the world of coin collecting, Rarity combined with condition and demand creates value. While older coins like the Buffalo nickels or early Jeffersons from the 1940s often attract more attention, modern coins like the 2001 D nickel have carved out a unique niche among enthusiasts who seek perfection in modern mint issues. These collectors are willing to pay substantial prices for coins that meet strict grading standards. But what about era coins? Era nickels from 2001 can be particularly fascinating. These include off-center strikes, double die obverse, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, a 2001 D nickel struck on a penny planchet, which would appear reddish and lighter, could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. These errors happen rarely, and when they do, they turn an ordinary 5-cent coin into a collector's treasure. The story of the Jefferson nickel is also a story of America's evolution. Through wars, economic changes, and design transitions, the nickel has remained a steady presence in circulation, symbolizing endurance and familiarity. The 2001 D issue captures a moment just before the U.S. Mint modernized its production process and altered designs for a new generation. In that sense, this coin represents the last breath of the original Schlag design before history turned another page. It's also worth noting that Denver Mint coins often differ subtly from their Philadelphia counterparts. The D Mint mark, found on the reverse side to the right of Monticello, identifies it as a Denver product. Coins from Denver typically have a stronger, more brilliant luster due to the mint's specific striking process and metal composition control. Collectors often compare Denver and Philadelphia coins to appreciate these subtle minting differences. Over the years, coin enthusiasts have realized that modern-era Jefferson nickels can appreciate in value just as significantly as older ones, especially when preserved in top condition. The challenge is that most people spend their nickels without ever checking them, meaning pristine examples remain in the hands of those who pay close attention. If you happen to find an uncirculated 2001 D Jefferson nickel in your collection, it might be worth submitting it for professional grading. You never know what treasure you might be holding. Another key aspect that makes the 2001 D Jefferson nickel appealing is its composition. Made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, this blend gives the coin its silvery appearance and durability. Unlike silver or gold coins that tarnish over time, the nickel composition maintains a distinctive sheen when properly stored. Collectors often use protective coin capsules or flips to preserve this shine, ensuring the coin remains untouched by air or moisture. If you take a closer look at the coin under a magnifying glass, you can admire the intricate craftsmanship, Jefferson's calm, dignified expression, the fine lines of his hair, and the tiny, engraved details that bring Monticello to life. These artistic elements are why coins are so much more than currency. They are pieces of history, art, and national pride combined in a form small enough to fit in your palm. Many coin enthusiasts build their collections around Jefferson nickels because of their historical continuity, beauty, and affordability. A complete Jefferson nickel set, from 1938 to present, tells a vivid story of American progress through changing times. The 2001 D plays a vital part in that narrative, linking the past design with the innovations that followed in 2004 and beyond. So, if you have a jar of coins sitting at home, it might be time to take a second look. Examine each Jefferson nickel carefully, especially those with a D Mint mark from 2001. Look for coins that shine like mirrors, that display every line and letter clearly, and that might just hold those precious, full steps on Monticello. What seems like an ordinary 5-cent coin could be something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Welcome back everyone to World Information HD, the channel where rare coins reveal their hidden secrets and unimaginable worth. Today's video is going to take you deep into the world of modern American coinage, a story of history, metal, minting mistakes, and unexpected value. We are talking about the United States of America 2011 D Mint mark Jefferson nickel Monticello 5-cent coin, a coin that most people spend without thinking twice, yet a few special ones have shocked collectors with their incredible value. So sit back, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. Let's begin by stepping into the history behind this coin. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, replaced the Buffalo nickel. It was designed to honor the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, and his historic home, Monticello, in Virginia. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has seen subtle changes, yet it has remained one of the most iconic pieces of U.S. coinage. By 2011, it had already become a coin deeply rooted in both history and modern collecting. Now, the 2011 D Mint marked Jefferson nickel was produced at the Denver Mint, which is symbolized by the small d located on the reverse side of the coin. Millions were struck that year, to be exact, over 490 million. So how does a coin produced in such massive numbers become something worth talking about? The answer lies in details: minting quality, condition, and rare die varieties. Each year, the U.S. Mint produces billions of coins, but not all are created equal. Some are struck with slight die errors or minting defects that make them extremely desirable to collectors. Others remain in perfect condition, untouched, uncirculated, and stored carefully, preserving every shine and detail. These are the coins that often turn a simple 5-cent piece into a collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now let's look closely at the design features that make this coin unique and appealing. On the obverse, the front side, we see the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, facing left. His eyes seem fixed in thought, his lips firm, reflecting both wisdom and determination. Above his head, the word, Liberty, is elegantly inscribed, followed by the year 2011, marking the modern minting era of the coin. The small D Mint mark sits neatly beside the date, proudly representing the Denver Mint's craftsmanship. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the Monticello building, Jefferson's famous Virginia home, centered with fine architectural detail. The word Monticello is written just below the building, followed by 5 cents and United States of America. Above it all, in a graceful arch, are the words E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. This phrase not only represents the unity of the American states but also carries deep symbolic meaning. It's a reminder that even a small coin can hold a piece of America's enduring story. The 2011 D. Jefferson nickel may seem ordinary at first glance, but to a trained eye, it hides treasures that few recognize. Coin collectors across the world pay close attention to factors like strike quality, luster, and die varieties. Some 2011 D nickels have been found with doubled dies, slight misalignments that cause letters or numbers to appear doubled. These varieties are often very subtle, but under magnification, they reveal themselves beautifully. Collectors love such imperfections because they make a coin one of a kind. Let's talk about condition, one of the most important aspects that determine a coin's value. Coin grading is done on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A grade of 70 represents a perfect, flawless coin. Most 2011 D. Jefferson nickels found in circulation fall somewhere between very fine, VF, and about uncirculated, AU, condition, which means they show signs of wear, scratches, and slight dullness. However, if a coin is preserved in mint state, MS condition, meaning it looks just as it did the moment it left the mint, its value can rise dramatically. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Some collectors specialize in modern nickels, and they focus on finding coins with full steps on the Monticello building. Full steps refers to the clear, visible lines on the stairs of the building's entrance. When these lines are fully visible and not worn down or blurred, it means the coin was struck exceptionally well. Coins with full steps, FS, designation can command high prices because they are rare and demonstrate minting perfection. In 2011, even though millions of nickels were made, very few achieved that pristine, full-step finish. Those that did, especially those graded MS67 or MS68 with full steps, are considered gems among collectors. Another key factor influencing the value of this coin is mint errors. Sometimes, during the minting process, unexpected flaws occur. The die might crack, the planchet, coin blank, might be off-center, or the strike might be weak. These errors create coins that are dramatically different from the standard version. Collectors pay close attention to these mistakes because they're rare glimpses into the minting process itself. For example, A 2011D nickel struck off-center or with a die clash could easily be worth hundreds of dollars or more depending on its visibility and grade. Beyond condition and errors, coin toning, the natural discoloration that develops over time, can also increase a coin's appeal. Some 2011D nickels have developed beautiful rainbow toning due to chemical reactions with the air. These vibrant colors make them visually stunning and desirable among collectors who appreciate unique aesthetics. Let's also not forget about the historical importance of the Jefferson nickel series itself. This coin has been circulating through America's hands since 1938, witnessing every era, from the Great Depression to the Digital Revolution. While the 2011D version is relatively modern, it still represents a living link to a tradition that has lasted for nearly a century. Collectors often search for complete sets, meaning one coin from every year and mint mark, and the 2011D is a crucial piece of that puzzle. When placed in pristine condition within a full Jefferson nickel collection, it helps complete a timeline of American coinage history that few other denominations can match. The Denver Mint, where this coin was struck, has been producing coins since 1906. It's known for its precision and quality, but even the best mints occasionally produce small inconsistencies that spark collector excitement. The 2011D nickels with die cracks, repunched mint marks, or doubled letters are especially appealing for this reason. If you ever find a 2011D Jefferson nickel in your pocket change, take a moment to inspect it closely. Hold it under a bright light, tilt it slowly, and observe how the light plays across Jefferson's portrait. Check the steps of Monticello carefully with a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling, faint cracks, or unusual metal flow lines. You never know, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand. For most people, nickels are just everyday coins used for snacks, vending machines, and parking meters. But for numismatists, serious coin collectors, every nickel tells a story. The 2011D Jefferson nickel is a reminder that even modern coins can surprise us with rare variations, fascinating mint marks, and unexpected historical depth. Now, let's explore what makes some of these coins stand out in the collector market. The average 2011D nickel in circulated condition is, of course, worth just 5 cents. But when we start talking about uncirculated grades, the numbers change dramatically. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially those certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for much more than face value. If the coin exhibits full steps and high luster, its value skyrockets further. In online auctions, some pristine examples have surprised collectors with their selling prices. A few coins graded MS67 with full steps have drawn attention not only because of their condition but because of their rarity. These sales remind us that patience, sharp observation, and knowledge can turn simple coins into hidden treasures. So, what can you do if you think you might have a valuable 2011D Jefferson nickel? The best first step is to handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers. Use cotton gloves to prevent oils from damaging the finish. Place it in a protective holder or coin flip to keep it safe. Then, take clear photos of both sides under good lighting and compare them with images of high-grade or error coins online. If you believe yours stands out, consider sending it to a professional grading service for evaluation. The world of coin collecting is built on curiosity and attention to detail. Many collectors started just like this, by finding an unusual coin and change and discovering a passion for history hidden in metal.